back with Bruce Feiler and a member of his own Council of Dads, Joshua Cooper Ramo, and I. Bruce just said, in a minute, I want to ask you what your advice is for your children. And wow, boy, if you had to think about what is the, you're going to leave one piece of advice, what would it be? We'll give that in a minute. Nikki is in the studio audience, and you were just talking in the break about your father.
Yes, my father taught us self-reliance. That was something I didn't see up there. My brother and I grew up on the Navajo Reservation, which is a third world country. There's a lot of places that still don't have running water or electricity. That's where we grew up. But my dad taught us that if you want something in life, you work for it and you can get it. We ended up leaving because I wanted to go to college. I ended up getting a physics degree, and now I'm an engineer. Okay. All because of what my father taught us. And I just thought there was something that needed to be said.
But I think self-reliance was the overarching message of the revolution.
Independence, and you should do it yourself. You shouldn't expect it to be a handout or a gift. You think of Franklin, more or less estranged from his father, leaving Boston with barely a coin in his pocket, and then sailing down to Philadelphia, getting there, everything entirely made, very industrious. And there was this great moment later in the Revolution, 50 years later, in fact, when Franklin said, we shouldn't have the bald eagle as our mascot because the bald eagle is lazy. It just sits up on the perch and lets the hawk do the hunting for him. He said we should have the turkey because the turkey is independent and the turkey will do for itself, hunt down its own food, and then, by the way, be willing to stand up to the British.
You'll also later hit turkeys with your car if you live in Connecticut, and it's not a pretty sight. Jeremy.
Yes, I just wanted to say the Founding Fathers' education was very important to them, and you mentioned that earlier. But like with Thomas Jefferson, yes, he believed in God, but he also believed in questioning God. He believed in seeing all sides. I think one of the main problems today is that you have a lot of schools that are indoctrinating children to believe certain ideals and special interest groups and the like.
You've always had that, haven't you?
Well, it's interesting because what I was thinking when Jeremy was saying that was, do we go to school now for the answers? Do we just want to go to the internet and just get the answers? Or do we want to make the actual act of questioning the process? Because to me, that's it. Actually, our friend Ben Sherwood in my Council of Dads, his saying, as you know from the book, is don't just seek the answers. Seek the questions and learn to love the questions, and the purpose is to live the questions. And that's what's the great thing about this Jefferson quote: boldly ask questions, even of God, which is the one thing that we're told we should never do.
You know, it's I think that's what bothers me so much about education. And I'm in the middle of writing I've just got a billion books that we're writing, but I'm in the middle of writing a children's history book, and hopefully it'll come out this Christmas. And part of it is to show what happened in history, what the truth is, and then it will have boxes off to the side to say, this is, if you have these textbooks, if you go to school, your teacher will probably say this is what happened. And here's how to do your own research and find the truth behind this. And then, because I think we need to teach children to learn how to find the truth, learn how to let go of the answer they want to find, and then be able to stand up and say, no, I'm sorry, I know you're an authority figure, but it's okay. I don't hate you. I'm not trying to challenge you here other than on the facts.
Freedom comes with responsibility. That job lies with us. There is that quote from Moses on the Liberty Bell that you and I have talked about. It's in America's Prophet. Proclaim liberty throughout the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. That says we have the freedom. We can sit back, let our rulers do it all, but we have the responsibility to act, and that goes with Jeremy and all the rest of us.
And that goes back to your father on the Indian reservation, that yes, it is independence, but beyond independence, it's self-reliance. That this country is today only, and this is a sad statement, only what this generation has made of it. This country can be only what we choose today to make of it for our children. Back in just a second. Filer has a book called The Council of Dads, and we're talking about the lessons that we can pass along, the lessons that our founders passed along to us, that we should now, as fathers, this Father's Day weekend, spend some time just thinking about you. I mean, not in a selfish way, but you, on like with your Council of Dads. What is it you want to pass on to your children? What is it that is critical that you teach them? Not only through words, but more importantly through actions.
So when I sat down with these men and said, what is the one life lesson, this is what I heard. And to me, it's what made me write this book. It's sort of a guidebook of living. And the advice was, first of all, how to take a trip, be a traveler, not a tourist. Okay. And then the second one was, sort of always pack your flip-flops. And that is sort of be true to yourself. Wherever you go, be true to yourself. Don't see the wall. If you encounter a wall when you're chasing that dream, we got to find a way to get over it, around it, or through it. Josh's is harvest miracles. But my favorite piece of advice, the one thing I want to pass down, the number one advice I got from all my dads: slow down, enjoy your life, enjoy that family. And to me, that is this phrase. I learned that in Paris, pedestrians 200 years ago took a turtle for a walk and let the reptile set the pace. To me, this is fantastic, right?
That's right.
Take a walk with a turtle. Behold the world and pause. Take your kids, go out, take a walk, make a memory. So that's my advice. Take a walk with a turtle. And now, if you're in my council of dads,
I've just been sitting here for the last couple of minutes and been thinking about it, and I was trying to think, what is the advice that I most go back to? And it has to be the whole phrase, but I think it's Jefferson. Question with boldness even the very existence of God, which means challenge all the way up. But the rest of the phrase is important. For he must surely rather honest questioning over blindfolded fear. And that implies that you're not just asking questions, you're asking honest questions, which means you're on a journey, you're seeking, you're willing to accept the truth no matter what it is. And honest questions, if you're asking honest questions of God, you don't start at the top, you start here. And so who am I? What am I? What am I supposed to be doing? And who are you? And that just, for me, that I think was the moment my life changed. And I think I read that in about 94, 95. When I read that, it changed my life.
And I'm not surprised, because we share a love of history and we share a love of family, that there's a similar phrase in the Council of Dads from Ben Sherwood: live the questions. And what Ben said, if you are lost in your life, no matter where you are, if you're in the emptiest desert or you're in a bad personal place, if you ask questions, you can find your way. Live the questions. That is the way to get through your life.
The name of the book is Council of Dads, and the other book that he wrote that has been profound, for me at least, is America's Prophet. Both really worth reading if you want to get a Father's Day gift for Dad. The Council of Dads. And dads, use this weekend to evaluate, what is it that I'm leaving to my kid? Because they don't care about the TV, they don't care about the car, they don't care about the money socked away. They're going to care, as you said earlier, about your father. What I think he really taught me. My dad has already left me everything that I needed from him. I don't need an inheritance, I don't need anything else. What is it you're going to leave to your children? This Founding Fathers Friday, recognize what they left us, and what part of that do we need to leave to our children? Back in just a second. Let me just do a shameless plug here for just a second on Father's Day. If you're going into the bookstore anyway, The Overton Window is a great read. It's a thriller for Dad. You can pick it up. He'll enjoy it. And pick one up for yourself, too. I think you'll enjoy it. I wanted to leave you tonight with a personal thought from a dad to his children. I started life out as a pretty selfish guy. I remember when I first got married, I really didn't want any children. And now I have 4. They're noisy and sometimes sticky. But I was sitting at my dinner table about 1.5 years ago, and it was noisy, and the kids were sticky, and everybody's screaming and yelling, and the dogs are barking. and I realized this is the only thing real in my life. This is the best part of life. Cherish your children. They will remember you. Make sure you remember you're creating memories every second you're with them. Mary, Hannah, Cheyenne, Rafe, your dad loves you. From New York, good night, America.